Welcome back to FLA Labs. Today we'll be building a desktop fire pit. Like most of my projects, this one starts with a bit of modeling in Fusion 360. If this was a larger YouTube channel, I might use the opportunity to tell you about today's sponsor. And more than likely, that sponsor would have been BetterHelp, because they sponsor just about every YouTube maker. Don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against mental health awareness or against services like BetterHelp. But for small YouTubers like me, we have to find mental health solutions of our own. And that's why I came up with the desktop fireplace. For me, watching an open flame has always had a therapeutic effect. It would cause me to reminisce on good times or contemplate difficult questions. But now that I own my own home, I find myself being a lot more careful with fire. The days of setting my trash can on fire just to see what it would look like are well and truly behind me. But that's okay, because since I was a kid, I've learned a lot about how to play with fire safely. In this case, that meant making a place that I could have a fire well contained and still perfectly visible. It also meant finding a fuel source that wouldn't emit a bunch of toxic fumes or smoke into the house. I've never really 3D printed anything that required sanding, but this project required a lot of sanding. What I'm doing here is smoothing the surface of the buck. That will create the void in my silicone mold later in the video, so any surface imperfections will be captured in that silicone mold. Next, what I'm going to do is apply a healthy layer of wood filler to all of the surfaces that would be visible in the final product. Theoretically, this will help to fill any of the remaining layer lines from the original 3D print. I splurged and bought the wood filler that was supposed to go on pink and dry white because I thought it might look nice on camera. I'll let you be the judge, but this does not look pink to me. Now that the wood filler is dried, the next step is even more sanding, but this time we know that the result of our sanding will be the surface finish of the final product, so we have to be a lot more meticulous. After one final pass with some 320 grit sandpaper, I think it'll be smooth enough. I found these conveniently sized buckets at Home Depot. Unfortunately, they have a little nub on the bottom, and I need the bottom to be flat, so I had to cut that out. This does introduce some risk that my silicone mold will leak, but I just used extra hot glue, and it didn't seem to be a problem. Once the buck is secured in the bottom of the silicone mold, I can start mixing the silicone. The silicone that I chose uses a 1-to-1 ratio by weight. It's important that you follow the manufacturer's recommendations so that the silicone will fully cure. I decided that the most thorough way to mix the silicone would be with my cordless drill, not to mention that my arms were still a little sore from all that sanding. Once I was sure the silicone had been thoroughly mixed, I poured it into the mold. Unfortunately, I didn't mix enough, so I had to mix a little bit more and pour that on top. I got a little too excited when the silicone had cured, so I started to demold off camera. These little buckets only cost a couple dollars, and once the silicone mold is created, it'll be reusable, so I justified the loss. The kit that I bought on Amazon came with this little flash removal tool. I was impressed at how well it worked. I wouldn't recommend mixing concrete inside. It's pretty dusty, and if it splashes, it can be hard to remove. So I decided to do this on my dining room table. Sorry, honey. I don't really know anything about concrete, and some of you watching this might be cringing at the ratio I used, but we decided that runny concrete would pour into the mold more easily and be less likely to leave air pockets. Once the concrete was mixed thoroughly, it was time to pour into the mold. I had to call in some help for the bubble removal. After about 12 hours, the concrete should be set up enough to be removed from the silicone mold, but I wouldn't recommend actually burning anything in the fire pit until it's fully cured after about 48 hours. And with that, our concrete desktop fire pit is complete. Thanks for watching this video. It was a pleasure to build, and I hope you found it as therapeutic as I did. Mental health is important, and I want to take this opportunity to remind you to get help if you need it. See you next time.